your name?
My name is Chris Burrell.
Okay, what school do you teach at?
I teach at Pearl Haskew Elementary, which is in Irvington.
Okay, what grade?
I teach second grade.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about The Leader in Me.
The Leader in Me is a movement that's based on a book that was written by Stephen Covey, and that book comes from his original book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay, how did you start it at your school?
A teacher that goes to our school had visited a relative of hers, and her children were in a Leader in Me school, and she was watching these kids and seeing the amazing things that they were doing and the language that they were using. And so she came back to our school and said, we need to read this book, which is The Leader in Me, and The 7 Habits of Happy Kids. And my principal read it, and she chose a few teachers to read it, and we all fell in love with it and knew that it would do really great things for our kids at our school.
Okay, how is it beneficial to the students and or the teachers?
It gives the kids and the teachers a common language. It's not another program or paperwork. It just gives us a common language to talk to the kids. There's 7 habits, and it's be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw.
Okay.
So, and using those words and, teaching the kids what those things mean. When there's conflict or group work or anything that they do, we use that language to talk about it.
That's great. How do you incorporate it in your everyday lessons?
Anything that you do, any story that you read, any math work that you do, group work, habits are all in there, like already. We read the book, Froggy Gets Dressed. And in Froggy Gets Dressed, Froggy runs out and he forgets his hat, so he has to come back in. Then he runs out and he forgets his socks, so he has to come back in. He runs out and he forgets his underwear, which the kids love, and he comes back in. Well, after we read the story, which is a story that I read every year regardless, we came back in and we talked about putting first things first and beginning with the end in mind. If Froggy had put first things first, then he would have known he had to put his underwear on before he could put his pants on. And so we brought out, and I teach second grade, we brought out a list, a piece of paper called the Prioritizer, and we talked about what they do in the morning, their normal morning routine. And we listed everything that the kids do in the morning, what time they wake up, eating breakfast, watching cartoons, and when they listed all the things that they did, then we put those in order, which were priorities. And the kids, they understood what our priority was, and they understood how to put first things first. And that is, any story you read, I'll say, okay, what habits did we hear? And they'll start saying, oh, they think win-win, or, oh, they synergized, and it's great. It's, it's just a common language.
That sounds great. How did the kids respond to it?
They love it, and I hear them, they'll be talking to themselves, and they'll get in an argument, or they'll be trying to work something out, and they'll say, well, we need to come up with a win-win solution or win-win situation. Their parents will text me or call and like, you would not believe, they wanted me to text your picture because they laid out their clothes because they were being proactive. The parents are amazed, the kids are amazed, and they just love it. They feel more confident about themselves. They feel like leaders and that, like they belong.
Yeah, I need to learn about it. Do you think this should be incorporated in all schools, and why?
Absolutely. Mobile County had started a movement which was getting kids college and career ready, and they started it by having the kids know what year they graduate, having them create goals and thinking about the end in mind, which is really what one of the habits that we're teaching them. And this goes right along with what Mobile County's already doing. And my daughter's in 5th grade, and we just started this at our school this year, but I really wish she had had that in kindergarten, because these kids that are getting this in kindergarten, these skills and these, knowing this language, they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to graduate, and they're going to know how to set goals and priorities. I have kindergartners that are keeping data in notebooks.
Wow.
It's great, and I think every child needs to have this and know what these habits are.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for interviewing with me.
You're welcome.